Hi, Dea. Thank you for this time. I'd like to explore this topic of a belief system. Yeah, could be a belief or something that's been there for some time now in the collective, in the society. So,
Yes.
what is your take about time heals all wounds? So, do you agree on this, and why?
Before, I
Mhm.
used to believe. I
Yeah,
used to be.
yeah.
but during the course of my journey, my life's journey, it seems that it's not really healing it's by itself.
Yeah, the wound does not heal by itself, right?
And it's occurring depending on how you depending on how you are being awakened by the situation and by the things that you know and the things that you are learning. So yun, now before as I said before, I used to believe it, but then now um I don't think time heals all wounds. So
Mhm.
how about you? Can you explore on that
Yeah.
belief?
So the thing is, it's very common, right? I mean, the culture where we come from, and I think it's also universal. It's been going on for some time now. Time heals all wounds. So, what is my take on that? Yeah, I do not agree with it because there are some wounds, and when I talk of, so what is wounding, right? These are like pain. This is for me working on trauma. These are woundings, right? These are trauma. Trauma can
Yeah.
be childhood, ancestral, past life. It's something that hurt us, right?
Mm.
And when you look at just the physiological of a wound, what happens then? Yeah, there are certain wounds that heal by itself
Yes.
by over time. For example, when you have a small cut, yeah, and you know that you're taking care of it, time does not heal all wounds.
Yeah.
I would say that there are other elements to it, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, when I look at the time, I think there is a perception there that over time, I mean, like there's like a duration, or as days pass by, like the pain becomes less and less and less, and then it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but not all wounds act in that manner, right? For example, you have a cut, a small cut in your finger. You sliced your finger when you're cutting vegetables, for example, or you have a paper cut, right? That's very common. Yeah, do you do
Mm-hmm.
something about it? We ignore it, yeah. But obviously, we know it's there, it's hurting. But after a few days, the wound actually heals on its own because
Yeah.
it's the body's mechanism, okay, to heal it.
Yes.
But
Yes.
at the same time, during that time that it's healing, you're also taking care of it. Maybe not consciously, but you don't subject it to harsh environment.
Correct.
You don't apply any chemical that will hurt it. Sometimes we need to cover it, or you know, um,
Yeah.
in order to heal it, right? But at the same time, there are wounds that they just don't go. So what happens to the physical wounds? Sometimes there's a scab, right?
Yeah.
Minsan nagpo-form siya ng keloid.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
for the keloid one, yeah, so you see it like because I do have a keloidal tendency. It's
Yeah.
there, but you know what? It hurts.
Yes. Yes. It hurts.
So
It's itchy.
yes, so I have this scar that so it become a scar. So there are some scars that still bothers you even up to now. Okay.
Yes.
So anyway, not all wounds are healed by time. And
Yeah.
why is that? Because there are wounds that take more effort to look into it. So in
Yeah.
terms of trauma, you need to be able to go back to why did I have this wounding?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where I always advocate that people need to go for therapy, not talk therapy, trauma informed therapy. Yeah, where
Yes.
there are proper interventions where we go to the root cause of the issue of the wound, not just the presenting issue. A lot of
Yes.
times when people come, even in our day-to-day lives, yeah, because not everybody is a therapist and not everyone goes for therapy. So, you know, whenever I speak to you, Dea, I listen to you with my open heart. Yeah. Firstly. And then what I see is I hear you, but what I hear from you is like a lot of times, and it happens to me as well. A lot of times we only see what's there on the surface.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we stop talking about it and we feel that it's gone. But
Yeah.
honestly, whatever is there on the surface, that was just a presenting issue. That was just the symptom of
Yeah.
something that is deeper than
Yeah.
what the person perceives it to be.
I
So
believe you.
it requires like more careful examination. Yeah. I
Yes.
know in therapy, it's just like they say reopening the wound. No, actually, the wound never closed.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
you know, and depending on how deep the wound is, yeah, how infected it is, yeah, sometimes there's also pus there. So what
Yes.
happens there? Let's say there's blood, yeah, when you look at it metaphorically. And that is when we get triggered, we actually spill those infection
Correct.
to and infect other people as well with our own woundings infection. Yeah? So does it
Yeah.
say that after some time, you know, there won't be infection? No, it's not a guarantee, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, taking from the things that you said, I also have a keloid here in my elbow, and
Yeah.
I wonder I wonder why it was operated. When was that? 1995.
Okay.
There from 1995, but then it's not, when when it's winter, it's very itchy, and then it's like, it will have like a dry skin, and then later on, it will hurt, and then suddenly it will like form into another womb, so it didn't heal at all.
Yeah, right. And in fact, you know, we advise that in therapy, it's actually better that when a person starts realizing that, you know, there's this all this pattern. Actually, how does one self-diagnose, right? When there are situations in your life and then you feel that it becomes like a pattern, there's like a loop, yeah. Palagi na lang, 'di ba? All the time, this happens to me. In fact, you know, in therapy, we were actually told there are diagnostic tools, okay? And one of them is like observing the client, you know, how the client speaks. So when the client is always saying always, never, ever, ever, and you know, there's this all this generalization,
Mm,
there's like a deep wounding there
yes.
that
Yes.
hasn't healed. Because why
Yes.
would you generalize? You can just say that, okay, this happened to me. And if that wound was closed, if that situation was closed truly, you will just say, I had an experience.
Yeah.
But when people say, so this is also one diagnostic tool. So how are you? You know, are you married? Oh, I was married. Okay, so how was it? Or somebody says also that they were separated. So if a
Mm,
person says, you know what, it was a horrible separation, yeah, and then you know it was a costly. I went through so much things, and you can also feel the energy of that person. But if a
yeah.
person has moved on from that experience, it's just an experience. So you don't
Yeah.
perpetuate the pain or the energy of
Yeah.
the heavy and strong energies coming from that experience. So you just say, yeah, you know, I'm separated now from my
Yeah.
ex-husband. And there's no judgment there. There's no shame. And one could say also that, you know, like I find it like it was just an experience, seriously. So
Yeah.
I don't, so I would know that I'm not carrying any more trauma. Okay. So when a person goes through a painful experience, something happens to the body, yeah, the physiologic. And then
Mhm.
because we are full of chemicals as well, right? We have hormones in the body, okay? And that's why when we don't arrest whatever emotions that we're going through, they get stored in the body, and you know it changes the chemical composition of the body, and then
Yeah.
you know it forms into a disease. So it acts up as an illness. So that's why
Yes.
we always say that, you know, like 95% of physical diseases are rooted emotionally.
Yeah.
So people who go for who are going through before, I would say that people before they go through surgery, that's like really worst case scenario. Yeah. Don't allow yourselves to go to that experience where you have to go and be cut and operated
Yeah.
or succumb to a lifelong medicine. Yeah, like this magic pill.
Yes.
To find out, go to an emotional health. I would advise actually a holistic uh, therapist or healer to be able to diagnose you and heal from the
Yeah.
core where it started.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
time does not heal all wound because it requires action. Okay, so action needs to be done.
Yeah.
Intention has to be there, being mindful. And so from the action itself, there's so many difference that one person can do, right?
Mm.
So another thing that's coming to me, Dea, is like grief. Is
Yes.
grief something when you lose someone you love so much, especially, from death? Does a person actually get over that pain or that sorrow? So I have an experience. I mean, I'm grateful that both my parents are still alive. Yeah. I cannot imagine the kind of pain one would go through losing someone like that, or your children, right? Somebody you love. It doesn't have to be them only.
Yeah.
I have experienced losing grandparents.
Yes.
And up to now, even while talking about it, even though I have this soul consciousness that their journey was over and they lived a good life, there's still that pain that they're gone.
Yeah.
Because there's that part of that, because being human, we have that part that's missing them, right? So there's a tiny wound there.
Of course.
Sometimes the wound also, time doesn't heal all wounds because sometimes the wound serves as a benefit. And
Yeah.
not all wounds get healed because sometimes you get, okay, from that, I feel that, I'm connected to them. Yeah. Okay, this is not very healthy, but it's up to me. I have full awareness that that longing to be with my grandparents, it's still there. And that keeps me reminded that, that they are still around, right? Not around in the physical world, but in the spirit world, but they still belong in the family system. And it's enough for me to continue to honor their lives when they were alive. Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I think, what you have been telling me in my in our sessions. I mean, for my own sessions that you give me, I think that is the basic thing that you are saying, that if there's still an emotional charge.
Yes.
So when there's still, when I still feel that, I still feel sad about it or cry about it, it means that it's still there. It means that it's not completely healed, so yeah. So that's the thing. So if there's still an emotional charge, you still feel the hurt, the pain, or so it means that you have not really uh healed it or moved on completely, or yeah, those things.
Yeah, sometimes it's not okay. It's very easy to diagnose people or self-diagnose when you know that there's still an emotional charge, yeah, because you feel sad, you feel angry or resentful, whatever, that's very easy. But at the same time, there are people who numb themselves, they dissociate. So in trying to mask their pain, because we have a tendency, we have a survival mechanism that's very inherent in us. Yeah.
Mm.
And our nervous system our subconscious mind will always want to protect us. That is one of the function of the subconscious mind. And because
Yeah.
it's 6,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind, it's always at play, whether you know it or not. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, so how would you spot if there are still wounds there, regardless of time,
Yeah.
when they refuse to talk about it? They say past is past. Yeah. Don't talk about it. So there's a danger to that. Yeah. Because I have experienced that in my family as well. And, with all good intentions, I'm sure my family just wants me to focus on the now.
Yeah.
Yes, But when I'm actively healing something, and when I say actively healing, I'm not obsessed with healing, huh? No. I used to. Um, so for me, whenever I feel that there's a trigger, what is a trigger? That's, something get instigated in you that you don't feel good about it, yeah? And then it lingers. So you know that, okay, what is this telling me? So rather than focusing on the person who made you feel that way, you just focus on yourself and say, so what is the message that it's bringing me? Yeah. So there's a wound. So there may be a wounding there. There may be a conditioning as well. But it's like, okay, so there's a wounding. So what is it then? Yeah. So then you will know. Because if a person is fully healed and it's okay to talk about the past, it's fine. You can just say, yeah, you know what, once upon a time I was married. And that was it. No more drama, trauma there in that story, right? You don't create a telenovela. So one of the things that benefit the wound, Dea, that's not being healed is sympathy.
Mm. Mm.
And sometimes people are so identified with their painful experiences.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and they wear it like a badge to find sympathy from other people. Probably
Yeah,
because they did not get that. They did not get the love, affection, validation when they were growing up. So that is again, there's a childhood trauma then. And this getting sympathy from other people. It could be sympathy from the family itself.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you are not looking for love, for validation, why would you keep a wound open? Wouldn't you want to like have it healed, right? And then so
Of
it
course.
doesn't bother you and pester you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. But it takes a lot of courage to be able to look at the wound as it is, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's why there's a lot of people who are not able to heal. Well, there's also a readiness there. Yeah, a lot of times people who come to me, they're mixed. Some people are like ready and open to healing, and then I
Yeah.
warn them it will be painful, but it's possible for us to go through it. I don't re-traumatize people. Yeah, I go through it once just to be able for the client to know where it is coming from. Because
Yes.
how will you heal the wound if you don't know where it's coming from? How would you heal the wound if you don't know if it was a snake bite, or was the snake actually poisonous, or was it just a bee sting or something, right? So
Yeah.
in
So
order,
yeah, in order for you to find the right medication and the right combination to heal it, you have to know what really um what's the root, where did it come from, and all the possible details that comes with it, right?
yeah, yeah. So one of the things also there, since we're talking about this wounding and traumas, is what we can do is look at the situation and ask ourselves, what is this serving in our lives apart from getting sympathy, right? So a lot
Mm.
of times what I'm looking for in that answer is to be able to help the client, the person, find out what is the positive virtue that I have learned from this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then again, the soul consciousness comes in. I am the soul and I came here in the earth school for me to learn lessons. Yeah, so that I
Mm.
can graduate and move on, I need to learn my lessons.
Yeah.
So I don't have to go and repeat grade one again and again every year. you know, I can also graduate to grade two.
If it's recurring, if it's going on and on for so many times, so many years, and you keep attracting and you keep so it means to say that you cannot, because you haven't passed the test, right? You haven't.
Yeah. So a lot of
So
times also there, the issue is when people come for therapy, yeah, or healing, what happens is that they feel good. They really feel good. Yeah, because I give them a lot of awareness. Like I give them that space to have all the awareness. So I ask all the right questions, and then they have all these aha moments. And then they
yes.
feel good and they start working, whatever, they continue their projects, they feel really good. And then they stop seeing,
Yeah.
continuing the therapy. So
Yeah.
this is like, and I'm happy for them that they found a lot of awareness and understanding in the first session. But the thing
Yeah.
is, they're only graduating from grade one, and they feel that they can go from grade one to masteral. it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
So so that's why it's very important for people to go and have a continuous therapy or help. It could be counseling, coaching. The problem with coaching, which is not trauma informed, see, so what I wanted to say here and highlight is that you can go for any approach that feels that resonates with you, because
Yeah.
we all are very different from each other, right? In the sense that, you know, when I'm studying, I like to see the words, I like to say them as well. Yeah, I like to see pictures, but not
Mhm.
everybody's like that. Some people, they just want to hear and not see, right? So what I'm saying is that, so find an approach that will work for you, but it has to be trauma informed approach, and it has to
Okay.
be something that goes deeper into your subconscious mind. Yeah, you can affirm, you can do affirmations, but that's just a complementary to a deeper healing. So that's why I love these talks with you, Dea, because we want to look at the holistic approach, right? So you take care of yourself. If you must take supplements, yeah, because you are low in certain minerals, then you go and take supplements because it's important for the body. You go for yoga, you go for exercise. So that's taking care of the physical self. But what about
Yes.
your emotional body then? Yeah. So
Yes.
what can you do? Emotional, mental body. And if you
Yes.
know that you have, and everybody have gone through trauma, and I tell you, we have a lot of hidden unresolved trauma. And one way to
Yes.
go about it is that when we feel triggered, ask ourselves, what does it make me feel? Yeah. If you're able to move on immediately without masking,
Mm.
yeah, it means like it's okay, because not all wounds need to go like really deep. So
Mm.
there are wounds that are pestering and they become a pattern in a life. Those are the ones that we know that we need to look at it. But nowadays, there's something that's happening in the cosmic world, in the spiritual world, where even in our world now, that we are not, I feel, okay, this is me. It may not resonate with everyone, but just
Mhm.
an observation that whatever mechanisms or approaches that we have done in the past, which were unhealthy,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yes.
they will not we will not be able to continue to work in such manner anymore, because we are being called to remember who we truly are, that we have all the resources within us. So we are given all this time to be able to correct what we have, like we can be better. So
Yes.
we can choose healthier mechanisms and approaches. We have a lot of people who can support us. Like internet is so vast, right? So you can just Google something and it's there, and we have the artificial intelligence as well. So make all these technologies work for us. But at the
For
same
you.
time, these are all complements, right? One of the
Yeah.
things that I like about us, Dea, is that we also look at it on a spiritual level. We remind
Yes.
each other. When I forget, there are moments that I forget that I am the soul, and you remind me, Vida, go back to your heart center. Yeah. I know you feel so hurt and you just want to attack and hurt the other person. Yes, because that's the usual mechanism, right? When you are hurt, you want to hurt others.
Yeah. We
I
we
mean,
are used we are used to that. I mean, to that habit. So
that is what we feel like when we are hurting. Okay, it
yeah.
doesn't mean that we're gonna like say it or do something and act on it, but it's very
Correct.
important to acknowledge that this is what I feel. Yeah, I felt violated, I felt disrespected there. So
Mm.
the first thing is I want to retaliate. Yeah, whether you accept it or not, this is what we. But then at the same time, when you are already awakened, and when you have this connection with the creator, with God and the spirit, yeah, whatever it is, it could be religious as well, it doesn't matter, right? But when you know that you are connected to the divine and that you are the soul, you will have those guidance immediately. You will be reminded, like for me, I'm guided because you are here, and there, when you are not here, I'm guided in other ways as well. I'm guided and reminded, Vida, you are divine being. Okay. So what is more what is more positive, and this is not toxic positivity, what
Mm.
is the best approach that you can take from this experience? What would be the best response, right? Because you may say and confront the other person, and then what? That's also fine, Dea, huh? Because sometimes out of the emotions, strong emotions, it's like, no, I have to say this, especially to people who have been suppressed all their lives and they could not speak. So I've seen
Yes.
that in myself, right? Because I have not been very vocal about what I feel
Yes.
personally. So I'm learning now to express myself. So, like a baby, sometimes it's very awkward when I express myself. Yeah. So I'm finding myself, I'm giving myself a lot of compassion. And I know that through practice, and through your guidance with you and with friends, I'm able to regulate my emotion and say, okay, okay, what would a loving soul do in this case, right?
Correct.
So that we
Correct.
stop the perpetuation of this kind of, let's say,
Yeah.
negative energy. Yeah, which is
Yes.
limiting us, which is just making us feel low. So what is the
Yes.
what is the higher vibrating energy or action that we can take in a
Yeah.
certain situation?
Yes, that's exactly the thing that I wanted to add. It's like, make sure that when it's okay with you, you are okay. Like here, especially here, you are you are stable here, because sometimes because the pressure from society, like societal pressures, that you are conformed to do this because you are a spiritual person or you are a religious person, you know, you will brush it off. But then here, something's happening here, which is really not good. So I think
Yeah.
it's better to express it bluntly. I mean, in a kind, you can express anything in a kind way, right? In it, I mean, you can choose your words, you can choose your you can choose how to deliver it, like properly, and the way that is calm, which
Okay.
is a bit difficult at times because of your
Yes. So what
but
happens, Dea, when, because I have been in this situation a few times or several times already, right? Because I didn't know how to regulate my emotions, right? So
yeah,
first I'm learning what emotions are, right? What are emotions? And then I tend to, because I'm still learning, so I'm like, oh, so this is how it feels angry, like this. So what happens then when you have done already the unthinkable, or maybe the usual thing, which is like react like strongly, like say maybe bad words, or like tell the other person, like like whatever. Sorry, that's like cursing them. Something. So
yes,
what can a person do when they already did the unthinkable work, which is like they already hurt themselves and hurt other people as well?
mm-mm, mm,
Yeah. So what I would say is, to answer my own question, and I would like to hear from you as well, is uh, forgive ourselves, not forgive the other person, forgive ourselves. Yeah. Have a lot of compassion for ourselves. So I am being
definitely,
mindful that it's okay, Vida. You are learning about emotions, you are learning to express yourself. Yeah. And then at the same time, the repair, so the recovery stage after you have expressed all your emotions, whether in a healthier manner or regardless of what it was. Yeah. So, how do you do the repair now in recovery? Because I've also read that 70% of the time, the mothers are not able to regulate the emotions of their children.
yeah, yeah, yes,
What matters the most is that 30%, that time from the time that they were not able to regulate. For example, the child was upset, and the mother wasn't there. So what happens then? So it's what matters is how they do the recovery, which is going back and communicating, expressing, hey, I'm here. Yeah. So you can now go back to reminding yourself to be kind,
mm,
to be open, to listen to the other person, to see also the other person that, hey, you know what? I actually made a soul contract with you, Dea. Whoever is in front of me in that relationship, I made a soul contract with that person, right? So,
mm,
okay, what are soul contracts? Soul contracts are there in order for us to learn a lesson. So now I
yeah,
know that. Okay, so what
mhm,
is this situation teaching me? So when you come from that place and I would say from a place of love, you will then be able to have a proper repair and heal whatever happened in the relationship. Yeah.
Correct.
And I think we need to give more importance on that in our next sessions.
Yes.
But for now, I think it's very important to start thinking about it. So how can I do the repair? Yeah.
Mm.
There are some relationships that maybe we just need to close them. But how do we close them? In a healthier manner that it doesn't affect our I don't
Yes.
know what you call it in BK, sun scars.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. The collective experiences through our lives. So to answer your question about how I would be able to do it is compassion and empathy as well, as you said.
Yeah.
So compassion and empathy, it's like as I said, there's a lot more to it than 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 what you see on the surface. So have that heart of and it takes practice, you know, and it takes as well self-realization and self-awakening. So if you are awakened, you can hold a lot of space for other people, and then practicing um responding rather than reacting.
Mhm, mhm.
So responding is a healthier way, but because when you react, you are defensive of something, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oops, you step on my toes, so
Yeah.
ow.
Yeah. So
But then
the connotation of reactive is just like not being able to have the space and time to think about it, right? It's just like the impulse of wanting to inflict the same pain.
yeah, so that, yeah, so if you are awakened, and it takes a lot of practice, and it's not really easy to go to go from black to white. I mean, it's not you know, it takes it takes a lot of practice, it takes a lot of wisdom, it takes a lot of courage, basically, to pick
Yeah.
yourself, okay,
Yes.
and not to drown yourself into other people's problems or negativities, or pessimism, you know. So you can do that.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, let's continue, Dea, in our possibly in our next session. And thank you so much for this. Yeah, I mean, I really love it that we're able to explore this these beliefs or this concept. Yeah, and pick up something what is gonna resonate with us and something that will help us move forward with
Yeah.
ease, peace, grace, joy. Yeah, with ourselves first, and then to be able to be there for other people as well. Yeah. So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Thea. Do you have any last words for?
Yeah, I just wanted to to ask our viewers if what's your take on this. So, what have you
Yes.
believed for the longest time, and what have you been? I mean, do you have any other perspective according to your understanding and lens, according to the way you grow up? So please, we would love to hear from you, and we would love to basically connect with you. That's the basic reason why we are doing this, to connect to more people. And if you know someone who needs this, kindly please share. That is I think our social responsibility.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So thank you so much, and hoping for your comments and feedback, like and support, and share with other people as well, so we can have more and more people getting the awareness. Yeah. Thank you so much, Thea. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Bless you, everyone.
Yes.
Goodbye.